The moon landing is like WWE. You're not supposed to believe it after 13. And anyone who still believes in it has never sat inside a 1960s car. Yeah, I said it and I stand by it. For decades, we've been sold the story that in 1969, the United States put a man on the moon using computers weaker than a modern-day calculator and metal cans with foil for isolation. It's been treated as one of humanity's greatest achievements, but let's stop treating it like gospel and start looking at it with what most people ignore: common sense. Technology grows, it doesn't go in reverse. The first reason to question the moon landing is simple. Technology doesn't disappear, it evolves, it improves. This is called iterative development, the natural progression where each version is better than the last. Look around you. Phones move from bricks to smartphones, cars from clunky death traps to electric self-driving machines, planes from wood and canvas to supersonic jets. Let's go back to air travel for a moment. In 1903, the Wright brothers flew 120 feet. Then in 1914, the first commercial airline was launched. That is just 11 years between "we have no idea how this works" to "paying to fly." Now let's compare that to space travel. 1969, allegedly humans landed on the moon. 2025, still no commercial moon flights, not even a repeat performance apart from the ones they did in the 1970s. We haven't been back in over 50 years. That's not how technology works. The moon is 240,000 miles away. Today we struggle to travel 1,200 miles. Let's talk numbers for a bit. Low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is about 100 to 1,200 miles from the Earth. The moon is about 238,900 miles away. We are told that in 1960s, before the internet, GPS, or even seatbelt laws, we sent men around 240,000 miles away, had them walk around and fly them back, using a machine that couldn't even land safely in a YouTube simulation today. But in 2025, NASA says we can't currently send humans beyond low Earth orbit because the tech isn't ready. Let me repeat that, the tech isn't ready. Yet, it supposedly was in 1969. Technology doesn't disappear unless something catastrophic happens. The only time we've seen major tech regression in history was after civilizational collapse. Take the Younger Dryas for example. A sudden climate shift about 12,900 years ago. Some believe it wiped out advanced societies, forcing humanities to restart over. But in modern times, there has been no disaster. So why is the moon landing the only technology that vanished? Did NASA lose the blueprint? Did we just forget how to do it? That's not how innovation works. What about the Concorde, some people will say? That was an advanced technology that disappeared. Let's break it down. The Concorde was a supersonic passenger jet that flew at Mach 2, twice the speed of sound. It stopped flying in 2003. But the tech didn't fail, the economics did. It was expensive to run, there weren't enough passengers, and the fatal crash in the year 2000 didn't help. Sonic booms made it impractical. We didn't lose the ability to make it, we chose not to use it. In fact, supersonic and hypersonic jets still exist in military use today. So that argument doesn't land. Another thing that also doesn't make sense about the moon landing is that no other country has done it. Now let's ask the biggest question. If the US really did it in 1969, why has no one else done it since? Let's not forget, Russia launched the first satellite, Sputnik, in 1957. Russia sent the first human into space, Yuri Gagarin, in 1961. They were ahead. Then suddenly, after the US allegedly lands on the moon, the Russians just give up. Not once in 5 decades did they, or China, or Europe, replicate the trip. That's just not suspicious, it's unbelievable. Especially considering that Russia currently leads in rocket technology. They were the first to successfully develop hypersonic missiles, something the US still struggles with. And yet they can't land on the moon. And think about this. If it were truly possible, and if it were truly achievable, oil-rich Middle Eastern nations like Saudi Arabia, UAE, or Qatar would have hired the best scientists in the world to get their own man on the moon, if only for the prestige. These countries build artificial islands, skyscrapers that touch the sky, and invest in fusion and mass technology. You really think they wouldn't have funded a moon landing if it were replicable? Every other breakthrough has been reproduced. Every major US innovation has been copied within 5 to 20 years. Atomic bomb, the US did it in 1945. The USSR followed suit in 1949. The UK in 1952 and China in 1964. What about stealth jets? The US did it in 1980s. Russia and China did it in the 2010s. And the internet? The US started it in the 1960s to 1980s. Europe and Asia, the internet was widespread by the 1990s. The iPhone came out in 2007. By 2015, the Chinese were the leading industry experts. But moon landing, only the US did it. Only in the 1960s and 70s, and never again. Make it make sense. So for final thought, ask yourself, if we really landed on the moon in 1969 with 1960s tech, why can't we do it easily today? Why has no other country, no matter how rich or advanced, ever done it again? Why can we build 3D printed hats and chat with AI, but not recreate a 50-year-old space mission? Common sense says something is off. So next time someone tells you we walked in the moon in the middle of the Cold War using paper-thin spacecraft and rotary dial-up computers, ask them one question. Have you ever sat in a 1960s car? Thank you.